Morning all. I thought I'd share a little something with you today. I'm gonna teach my kids the basics of navigating with a map and a compass. And I know we've got GPS, GPRS, you know, sat navs and these little Garmin things, but it's the same as starting fire with flint and steel. Probably never going to have to use it, but I really believe it's a skill that needs to be passed on without getting too deep into it. So today, maybe tomorrow, I'm just going to go through a few basics. First thing is, I think it's to get a clean compass reading. So we do that first, and then how to orientate a map, how to read a map, and perhaps doing how to get a grid reference. Yeah, there's quite a few things there. But first things first, I'm going to talk about getting a clean compass reading. Now, yeah, we'll do that first, and then maybe I'll get into more finer details about the difference between a magnetic reading, a grid reading, and a true north reading. But without getting too technical, we'll do that first. Right, a clean compass reading. Basically, you can see where my compass reading, where my needles are assuming, pointing north. But if I take this over to here, you'll see that now, put that down, north is over there. Can you see that? Watch the needle move as yeah, that's a little bit clearer. See how the needle moves? Okay. And I'm going to take her over, and you see the needle moves again. Can you see that? How about if I put a torch next to my needles? You see them? Okay. How about my Leatherman? Are you ready for that? Check that out. Okay. Now you're all saying, yeah, but there's a magnetic holder inside that, Sarge, right down there. Yes, that's true. Bear that in mind. How about if I'm going to use a knife to show people this is where we're going? On a map, contour lines, grid reference. See how that interferes with a compass reading. Metal, metallics, magnets. That's the fear, that's the danger of trying to take a magnetic reading next to a vehicle or any metallic object. You need a clean area, because that in itself can throw you completely off course. So ensure you're in a clean environment. No one's got anything clipped onto their belt close to where you're trying to take your compass reading. So that's the first lesson. Right. Maybe we'll do orientating a map next. Right, guys, bless you, thanking you. Right, guys, before we get on to, you know, how to use this tool, I think I'm just going to point out some well, try and take some of the fear out of the compass. I know some of you younger guys who are doing Cubs, Scouts, Army Cadets, Duke of Edinburgh, you will be taught this. And you know, I remember when I was first taught this, it was a little bit scary to start off with, just because I didn't really know what was going on. So what I'm going to try and do is take, well, just a couple of minutes and explain the principles of a compass. We're going to start off with, we have a look at the main twiggly wiggly thing. That's called your bezel, okay? And inside here, you have your needle. That will always point to magnetic north. Okay, we have a line running straight down the center of your compass. That's known as your direction of travel. Okay. Then you'll come to these three L-shaped grid markings, as it were. And you'll see we've got three different scales on there. They're called romas. Now the maps that I use are 1 to 50,000 scale. So we will be using this central Roma. These are primary function is to give yourself or be able to read a grid reference. And the next lesson will be how to take or make a 6-figure grid reference. So other little bits on here, you can see down here, this one has got a ruler down here, which is just simply marked in mils, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 mil. Then we've got a little bit of a ruler there for inches. But that's it. It's not that scary. It is simply a tool to give you an orientation for a magnetic north. That's all it is. So all I'm going to do, I'm just going to move this bezel around here and just line up our direction of travel with the north on the bezel. There you go. That's at 0 degrees or 360 degrees, whichever you would rather use. So if we look, we've got north, south, east, west, but we also have all these figures around here, 360 degrees. So east is 90 degrees, south is 180 degrees, so on and so forth until you're back round to 360 degrees. We're going to use this when we're actually taking a compass bearing. But for the next lesson, all we're going to use this Roma up here, which is going to allow us to give a 6-figure grid reference or to take a 6-figure grid reference. So there you go. Hopefully I've taken some of the fear out of it. And if I can assure you, in future, if you get good at reading a map, you will hardly ever have to use a compass. How's that for you? Just thought I'd put that out there. If you can read a map well, you're not going to need these. Right. Yeah, let's take a grid reference. See you in a minute. Bye. Right, okay, so we're in a clean area. We're confident that our compass is reading a true magnetic north. We know what all these things do. What we really would need to do is what we call orientate the map. It's simply pointing the map in the right direction. So if we look at these lines here, they're called our northings. They're pointing grid north. And then we've got the other lines, they're called our eastings. And all we want to do is just make sure that our northings are actually pointing north or magnetic north. I'm not going to make it complicated yet, okay? I may not even make it complicated. Right, so first things first, what we're going to do is just turn our bezel so as that north on the bezel is in line with our direction of travel line. And then all I'm going to do, I'm going to place it on the map on one of my northings, and all I'm going to do is turn the map until my magnetic north is in line with my direction of travel. It's as simple as that. It doesn't have to be complicated, overcomplicated. So I'm just turning my map around. Oh, I'm stuck. Stick that on there. There we go. That's it. So the map is now orientated. So we know map is pointing north, compass is pointing north. If we're stood anywhere on the map and we're looking that way, that's exactly going to be our field of vision. That's exactly which way we're facing. So if I'm stood there and I'm looking that way, that's exactly what I'm going to see going that way. So all we have done is orientated the map. So it gives us our own place and direction on the map. So that's it. Simple as. All I'm going to do, north, direction of travel, point it anywhere. Any of these northings will do. Facing grid north. I'm going to turn it around until my needle is facing north as well. There we go. The map is now orientated. Hope you get that, guys. Right, next we're going to take six-figure grid reference. Right, see you soon. Bye. Right, guys. Grid reference. Specifically, a six-figure grid reference. We're not going to go into four-figure or eight-figure grid references purely because, well, for this purpose, for map reading, for being able to navigate and orientate yourself from one point to another, it's not necessary. If you're looking at geocaching, yes, maybe you may want an eight-figure grid reference just to tighten in your search area. Eight-figure grid reference is going to give you like a 10 meter by 10 meter area. What we're going to do now, six-figure grid reference, is going to give you 100 meter by 100 meter. If you're looking for a triangulation point, or you're looking for I suppose a junction in a path, or the corner of a wood, six-figure grid reference is plenty enough detail for you. So we're gonna have a look at the principally how a map works and how a map actually breaks its area down. If you look here, you've got blue lines that run from north to south. They're known as your northings, and then you have blue lines here that travel from east to west. They are known as your eastings. So all we're going to do, we're going to take a point on the map. Let's have a look at this point here. For all intents and purposes, blue triangle means it's a trig point, a triangulation point, or on the key of this map it calls it a triangulation pillar, normally found at the top of a hill. It just gives you a bearing, a reference, so you can actually, you can make sure you are where you're supposed to be. Right, so all we're going to do is we're going to take a six-figure grid reference for this triangulation point. If I take you over to our compass again, you can see that we've got three roamers. We've got three different scale roamers. Our map is a 1 to 50 thou. That's what we're going to use. We're going to use this roamer here. It basically splits each one of your boxes into 10. Now, once I show you this principle, you may not ever need to use a roamer ever again. I know I don't, but for teaching purposes, I'm going to show you exactly how to use a roamer. So, when you're given a six-figure grid reference, what you want to do is write down this figure first. You're going across the corridor and up the stairs. That's how we do it. So what we're going to do is give our northings first. So you see 94, 95, 96. You see here, this is where our triangulation point is. So it's in the box 96. Okay, so I'm going to put the corner of my Roma right in the centre of that triangulation point. You see that? Triangulation point, centre of my Roma. Okay, so our first 3 digits of our 6-figure grid reference is 9, 6, 5. Okay, and you can almost see that. It's in the centre of the box. So 9, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I drew that line up there, you would see exactly where it falls, right in the centre. So our first 3 figures of our 6-figure grid reference is 9, 6, 5. 9, 6, 5. Okay. Now we're going to go to the other 3. If we look here, we got 16, 17, 18, 19. It's in. If I drew that line right across there, from there, let's see if I can do this right, from there all the way to there. That tells you exactly where it is. Okay. So I'll do it principally with a Roma. I'll stick the Roma on there. So it's 1, 8. And then you can tell what it is straight away. 1, 8. You got it? Oh, sorry, wrong Roma. 1, 8, 9. Okay. I'm going to take the Roma away and you can see what I mean. If we look, 9, 6, 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 8. You can see it's going to be a 9. 1, 8, 9. You don't necessarily need a Roma, guys. But for this lesson, I was going to show you the principle of how to use a Roma. So that is our 6-figure grid reference for that triangulation point up there. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. I know sometimes this can be a little bit daunting, but it doesn't have to be. Hopefully you can see that. The first is 9, 6, 5, 1, 8, 9. And that's it on the Roma. Okay. 9, 6, 5, 1, 8, 9. Right. Thanks, guys. And I think next time we might look at how to take a compass bearing. Right then, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye. Right then, guys. Okay, so we know what this is for. We know how to orientate the map. And we know how to take and give a 6-figure grid reference. So let's say, for example, we have 2 6-figure grid references and we want to take a bearing on those references. So let's go somewhere familiar. Top of Penny Fan. Okay. To the parking spot down by the road. Okay, we're going to take a compass bearing off those. We're going to travel there. So let's bear in mind that this is our direction of travel. There's 2 ways of taking a compass bearing, and you choose whichever way you think is best for you or your environment. But the first way, you don't actually need the compass needle at all. So all we're going to do, we're going to join up the 2 spots there and there And then all we're going to do is turn our bezel so as that these lines inside the bezel, you see them turning, they line up with your north grid lines. Okay, that's all we're doing. See that? Take 2 points, stick compass in your line of travel, turn your bezel so it lines up with your grid north lines. Okay, take it off. You'll see that we've now got a bearing of 22 degrees. Okay, simple way. Now, what you might want to do is you might actually want to physically orientate your map. So we'll do that now. So we're just going to line it up as I showed you in the other video. I'm going to come around here. Keep them on our north grid line. Make sure that this is straight. Direction of travel. So we're lined up. I'm just going to make sure we're still in shot. Only just. There we go. So I'll do that again. All I've done is orientate the map so that my north lines up with my north grid north lines on my map. So that's that. Now, don't move the map. We're going to take our 2 points again. Okay, I'm looking for Penny Fan and the car park. Penny Fan, car park. And now this time we line up our north, the bezel, or 0 degrees, with the needle. See the needle there? So north, north, take it off. Now we have it. 22 degrees is our bearing. So I'll turn this around again. So if we bear in mind that we have a compass bearing of 22 degrees north, we're going to be holding, well, we'd be holding it like that, wouldn't we, guys? Holding it like that, keeping our needle in line with the north and following our direction of travel. That's what we're going to be doing. Throw that away. In the real world, if we look down at our environment and we actually look at the terrain that we're wanting to cross, we'll see parking, Penny Fan. Okay, our direction of travel is across this pathway here. It's not a straight line, and you will very, very rarely come across a straight line. So that's going to bring us on to our next video, and I'm going to call it map familiarization. Get to know your map, and we'll go through a few aspects of this type of map and the keys and what to look for and how to read it, because once you learn how to read a map, well, you rely less and less upon a compass. So, right, okay, see you in a minute, bye. Right guys, okay, let's call this map familiarization. Simply put, learn how to read a map. It may sound simple, but unless you actually spend time looking at a map and then looking at the area around you, you're going to find it really difficult to translate one onto the other. Basically, a map is just, well, it's just a piece of paper with the model of your surroundings, and it's up to you as the operator, as the reader, to translate that into a three-dimensional image. You know, not only for your sake, but for the people who are around you. So if you know how a map works and you know what a map is trying to tell you, that is actually going to help you navigate. It may sound simple to a lot of you guys out there, but you guys obviously have experience reading maps. If you're not aware of the general information that you find on a map, we call it the key. A lot of maps are different, but if you take and stick to, you know, like Discovery series, Ordnance Survey maps, 1 to 50,000, like I do, generally the information is the same from one map to the other. So I can translate this information onto here. And, you know, after a while you get quite confident, you know what that is, and you know what this is, and you know what that is, and you know what this cliff edge is, and beware of it. But if you're looking at a map and you can see all these red lines, they're called contour lines. Now, contour lines on this map are spaced at 10 meters between each line. So the tighter the lines, the quicker it's rising or falling. And that's for you to actually look into. If you look down here, you can see that the contour lines are actually marked with their distance, with their height above sea level. So you can see that one's 720 meters, that one's 700, and then 680, and so on and so forth. So you can see, if you look at that, that's actually going up. And you can begin to build a picture in your own head of this environment. So you're looking up here, you've got a little bit of woodland here, and you've got like a little path, and then the path's going to stop, and you're going to find you've got a little river. But on both sides of the rivers, you can actually see you've got a steep bank. And that's going to be really steep going up there. So the chances of you being able to go up there is very, very slim. So you're probably going to turn around and you'd actually go through the woodland and take this, which is a lot less steep. And that'll take you up to here, and it'll take you up onto the ridge. And then you can see on the ridge, and you see either side, that you've got a cliff edge here, because the key tells you that that is a cliff edge. Okay, so we're going up the cliff edge, and we're following this path, and then from here we can decide where we're going to go. We can then go across the ridge over to Penny Fan, very, very steep area there. I think they call that the Devil's Kitchen. And then we can follow a nice little path back down, and then we can go here and we'll see that we have a cliff edge on the left hand side. All of these are markers. You can see we've got a cliff edge there, we've got a nice steep area there, we've got a bellowing area here where the cliff edge actually rounds in, and you can see that you begin to build up a picture of the area, of the environment that you're in. So you're not necessarily reliant upon, let me just put this back here. So we started down here. You know, are we going to take a compass bearing from that point up to there? Probably not. Because we know if we walk up there, we're going to come to that. And then are we going to take another compass bearing from there over to there? Probably not, because we're on the ridge. And we've built in our own heads, in our own mind's eye, we know what to expect. This comes out when it goes a little bit wrong. When, you know, you've taken the wrong direction, or you've had a brain fart or something. So that's what I'm really trying to say is, guys, get to know your map. Get to know what your map means. what this means here, what that means there, what that means there. If we look at, to come back onto Penny Fan, if we look at Penny Fan and we look at the parking zone there, we can estimate, because we know that each one of those blocks is 1 kilometre. So we go from there, 1 kilometre, 2 kilometre, 3 kilometre, 3.5k. That's all it is. It's also downhill. So we're going to get there a bit quicker than what we would if it was in the flat, or a lot quicker than if we were going up. So that's what I'm trying to say to you guys. Get a map of your local area, get to know your map, get to know what it means and how all of this translates into the real world. Then you won't need to rely upon those so much. Right then guys, I think that's it for now. Some of you guys wanted to get into mag, grid, get rid, grid, mag, add. You know, we're not going to get into that. And different, well, look, this was a basic lesson. This is what I was teaching my kids, okay? I'm not an instructor. This is just, and I've probably made a couple of mistakes. Yeah, please let me know if you found any. Right, all right, take care, God bless, and yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye.